Hi, welcome to Earth and Sky. Welcome to this week's live talk. We're minus one person again. Apparently, she is meeting lots of amazing people. She's meditating on a mountain. I think I've said that before. And she just keeps sending these amazing photos, these landscapes and ranges and temples, and it's amazing. So anyway, she hasn't completely ditched us forever. She will be back, I promise. I know. She's so much nicer to look at than you. I know. But she put me in charge here, so what are you going to do, right? So this week, I was going to talk about, in the first episode of Ego, we talked about all the different things that ego wants you to believe. And one of those is that nothing is your fault. Nothing is your fault. And so I thought we would start this off with a situation. So you're in your car, sitting at a light. Light's red, you're waiting, light turns green. You start going forwards. As you get in the intersection, boom. Car comes across, hits the nose of your car, you spin, things roll, cars are destroyed. You're in the hospital, so are they. Your family's worried, things, and your life has now taken that path. That is now where you're going. Now, was that your fault? Well, no, of course not. Light turned green and you went. Someone hit you. They ran the red light. It's not your fault. Legally it is not your fault. They will get the ticket. They'll, it's their fault. Insurance will eventually, hopefully, you get a new car. You get out of the hospital and you do all of this stuff of, getting better, and things start to move forwards again. And then life hopefully goes back to normal, we hope, right? Legally, it is not your fault, but you were there. And it's not like you could have done anything, right? You could have looked, right? Could have paid a little closer attention. But that's not my job. My job is to follow the rules. Well, that's true. But you drive on these roads with all of these people all the time. And when you look around and you go, oh my God, you see these people driving, and is it a surprise that one of them might do something like run a red light? Well, no, of course not. So then why would you not have thought to pay attention to all of the cars around you? Well, because it takes a lot of energy. It does. It takes a lot of energy and focus to pay attention to all of the cars around you when you're driving. Although you're in a 2-ton missile that can kill you and anything around you. So paying attention might not be a bad idea. I know life is busy, no question. I think we all know that. But is it worth paying attention for? To navigate around a situation like that? So instead it's the light turns green and you just you let off the brake, and then you push on the brake and you go, wait a minute, this guy's going awfully quickly. And then when you glance at the driver and you go, and he's looking at his phone. And if he were to hit the brakes now, he would have never had time to stop anyway, and you watch him go by. Is it worth that outcome to pay attention? I would think so. Now, how do we get here emotionally? How do we get where we just are reacting to everything? We go by what the lights tell us, hopefully. We follow traffic, we do this, we do that, and then things happen because we weren't paying attention. I can't tell you how many accidents I've avoided because I watched the cars around me. When I was 16, quick story, when I was 16, I had my license for a very short time. We had a high school thing. Friends wanted to do pizza. My parents were like, we'll let you take your friends to the corner. It's basically on the way home, to the corner and get pizza, take them home, come home. Okay, no problem. Well, while we're at pizza, it had started to rain. And in Arizona, when it rains, it usually rains pretty hard. So it had started raining really hard. So I had taken one of them home, and I'm on my way to take another person home. Driving down the street, car going the other way, hits a big puddle, splashes on the windshield. Sounds like a shotgun, scares the crap out of me. I turn and I hit a tree, slide into a tree. Nobody was hurt, thankfully. I go home and I'm just like, it was an accident. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. My dad said, you chose to drive. You chose to be in that car with those people at that moment. And I just kind of went, yeah, that was my responsibility. The stuff that happens around you is your responsibility. Now, why do we think it's not? Why do most people have a tendency to believe it's not? Well, our ego tells us it's not. But let's take a little bit more active approach at trying to figure this out. So when you're a kid, when you're being raised, parents, whatever, do what I say, get it done, clean your room, eat your food, go to school, take the classes, get good grades. And so you just kind of go, I have to do this part, I have to do that part. If I don't, I get in trouble, so you clean your room and you do the things and you go to school and, then you're in high school and then let's say high school, you get a job, and then all of a sudden you get a job, and now you're making money, and so you decide to move out, and then you move out, and the job is paying for the bills so I can be on my own, and then you meet someone, so you meet someone, you get pregnant, you have a kid, you married them, now you're in a job that you don't like, you're making money in a place that you're not going anywhere, you're married to someone that you're not sure you want him, and this kid that you're not sure you wanted either, and then this guy comes along and goes, it was all your choices. You go, wait, time out. No. These were not my choices. They were. You were taught to believe that you didn't have a choice in the matter. You were taught to think that what you have to do to get through this life are these things, and you don't have a choice in the matter, but you do. Each one of those things was a choice, but they weren't necessarily the wrong choice. But the fact that you feel like you didn't have a choice in the matter is what makes it the problem. So, if you were to take the idea now, all of these things, your job, your significant other, your home, what you drive, where you live, all of it is up for grabs. If you were to make a list of things that you don't like about your life, you want to change about your life, write that down. So I'll give you a second. Freeze. Okay, so you wrote down the thing, paused it if you needed to. So you write down the stuff that you want to change in your life. Now, the only thing that you can't do, the only thing you can't do to make some of this stuff start to change, the only thing you can't do is do what you've always been doing. Because if you keep doing what you've been doing up to this point, nothing's going to change. You've got to do something different. And if you approach these things like, okay, it's a choice. The job I work at, I don't like the boss or the people or how far I have to drive. There are other jobs in that field somewhere else that you can go to. They will have better people. You might be able to get a pay raise. I mean, there's all of these choices, and they will have positive and negatives. You're not going to go from this to this and there not be anything negative on the other side. There's always positive with some negative, but you have to figure out what's the most important. I can deal with a little bit less pay, but it's right next door. Or I can deal with more pay, even if I get along with anybody, even if they make me mad. I don't mind. That doesn't bother me. The people don't care, but what I get paid does. Pick the things that are important to you and then you go get it. Make the choices. Look at your life as a thing that is changeable, that is anything you want it to be, because you can make it anything you want to do. Now, the other side of that is the things that are all wrong. So I'm talking about the things that are wrong. All of the good things, when you take responsibility, when you say, this is from the choices I've made, all of those amazing things. If you've got a great kid, you love your job, you've got an amazing significant other, this was because I made great choices. That was because I made the right choice. These things are because I made the right choices. So you get to take that in. That's praise for you. But the faults, the things that, why? Those are yours too. So the hard part is getting your ego out of the way to understand that all of those things that happen to you, even things that feel like they're out of your control, are your responsibility. If they happen to you, you have to carry that through your life. You have to handle that. You have to be part of it. It is now part of your world. And when it's part of your world, it's part of your responsibility. And if it's part of your responsibility, it's yours. You got there. So, make that list. Make some changes. Do not do the same thing you've always done. And watch things start to change for the better. If you like the video, please hit the like button. I will tell you if there's anything you want me to add. If you have questions about any of these, you want to add like what you would put on your list that you would like us to expand upon, please put those in the comments below. We love when people engage with us. And otherwise, we will... hit the subscribe if you haven't already. And we will see you next week.